So when we got our Model Y, we ended up getting the 20-inch upgraded wheels, and that is because with the launch series, the price was the same whether you got the upgraded wheels or not. You paid the same price no matter what options you put on the car. So naturally, go ahead and get the $2,000 wheel upgrade included in the price. Now, we went with Quicksilver, and I'm glad we went with Quicksilver. I love the color. However, these wheels do not look good with Quicksilver. I think that the base wheels look much better, and since launch series is over now, I highly recommend you get the 19-inch wheels. There's some new wheel covers that are coming very soon to the market that'll make those look really nice without having to do wheel upgrades. But if you're gonna do wheel upgrades, one of the best options out there is definitely Unplugged Performance, and that is what I'm putting on today. I'm putting on probably their most popular wheel, I think, but I'm doing it in gloss black, and I think it's gonna look really nice because of the nice shiny gloss paint here. But there's another thing to this story, and that is I went with some really nice premium wheels, but I also went with the absolute cheapest EV rated tires that I could find. These are EV specific tires. So I went with the most affordable option out there. It's branded Radar.
Colonel, you better take a look at this radar.
We're gonna put those on, and the new Model Y comes with these new Hankook Ion tires, which are really good. Sound is really good. I did do a before sound check in the car, so we're gonna test to see what kind of road noise difference there is between these really awesome high-end premium tires and the off-the-shelf clearance budget tires that are available out there as well, that are still tailored to EVs for efficiency purposes. So we're gonna try all of that today, but first thing, we need to get these things off. For now, it's not doing the car justice, and we need to fix that. So I'm actually noticing a problem first and foremost, and that is I'm reusing the factory lug nuts, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. However, these things look ugly, and we're gonna have a beautiful wheel, ugly lug nuts. I'm gonna have to find a solution for that. Don't forget your puck. I always forget this. Definitely on the last wheel, I'll forget it. Much better. Oh, I love it. I'm really happy with the way this looks, at least in the garage. We'll get it out after the road test. We'll take a look at it in the sun and see what it looks like all glossed out like that. Just 3 more to go. All right, so first off, here's the tires side by side. And as you can see, there's a very different approach to how these tires are designed. We have, I would say, more basic setup here, where traction in wet weather is probably going to be better on this, actually, based on just how we have our ridges. We have a lot of open cavities for the tire to be able to efficiently push out water. And over here, you can see a much more efficient design where we have less cut-in and we have a lower rolling resistance with the way that these center 3 are set up. And then on the sides, obviously, we have really good setup for ejecting water. So interesting, very different. Both of these are all-season tires, which is great. Now for tread, I think the Hancooks are rated at 8. I think they're 8 when new, something like that. Let's see. Yeah, 8. So 8 when new, and the tread on these might be deeper actually. I'd probably wear out a little bit faster too. So these are a 10. So 30 seconds deeper tread on the Radar tires versus the Hankook. Now for price. $550 for a set of 4, not one, for a set of 4. These things are so cheap. And then this, we're talking 14 or 1500 bucks for a set of 4 on the Hankook Ions. These are great tires, and their performance is amazing. Very quiet, good efficiency, very expensive. About as cheap as you can get on the market for an EV rated specific tire. The factory 20-inch wheel is 33 pounds. The tire itself is 27 pounds, a total combined weight of 60 pounds per corner. That's pretty heavy actually, for standards on this size of a vehicle. So pretty hefty weight on each corner. Coming over here to the Unplugged Performance, things get crazy. We're talking just over 21 pounds on the Unplugged Performance. Again, 33 all the way down to 21. This particular tire is 28 pounds, so it is 1 pound heavier actually than the Hankook Ion. We're talking a total 49 pounds on each corner here versus 11 pounds per corner drop. Now, the design is going to be less aerodynamic that I went with as compared to this, but the weight savings for unsprung weight is pretty significant. On our last Model Y, we dropped, I think, 5 pounds per corner, and I had something like a 3% reduction in increase in efficiency, increase in range. So it actually went farther with a much lighter, but this is twice as light as compared to the factory 20-inch wheels, which is absolutely crazy. So that is pretty awesome. I'm really loving the look. I'm not crazy about the lug nut situation, but it doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would. I am going to get a solution for that. I'm going to order some new lug nuts so that'll look a bit nicer, more blended. So it's been a couple of weeks now and really been enjoying these wheels. Not so sure yet on the tires. It has gone down in noise, but it makes this kind of a hollow whistling noise, but it is a break-in period. We're at like 300 miles, so I'm hoping by 500 that goes away. I went ahead and got an anti-marring 21 millimeter because with these wheels, we were really touching up on the powder coat, and you don't want to do that. So I did finally get a anti-marring 21, and then I got some wheel locks because a lot of you were saying that you're worried about these getting stolen. That's probably valid. These are not cheap wheels. So this is not a very expensive thing to get. And then you just keep the key in your glove box. So we're going to do that. I also got caps for all the lug nuts. So this is going to look so much more complete here in a moment. What I want to do is remove one of these lug nuts. And once we do that, we'll put the wheel lock on. I went with black so that will match the caps that we're putting on all the lug nuts, and the correct thread pattern. Link to all this in the description to make it even easier for you. I think they also have these in chrome, but went with the gloss black to match everything else. And then we just take our 21 millimeter and we're going to torque this down just like the others to 129 foot-pound of torque, which is what the spec is for these. I actually found a set that come in gloss so that it'll match the gloss on the wheels. So let's put these on and let's see what the difference is. And there you go. It just looks so much more complete. It doesn't stand out as much with the basically the naked steel underneath those covers. And they're pretty easy because, if I can find it, they come with this tool, so no matter how deep the socket goes in there, this will reach all the way in. I had the same kind of setup on our Martian wheels on our last ones and never had an issue. But this is a way to do it without replacing the lug nuts with something fancy and expensive. Pretty cost-effective way, both the locking nuts and putting the caps on. And I do like the gloss because it kind of disappears. So let's look at that compared to the back. A very different look overall when it's covered up, just kind of blends in and finishes that look so much better. So next, what I want to do now that that is done is I want to coat these tires in something that'll keep them looking black. These are brand new tires, and you can see there's all kinds of discoloration, and it's oils and greases and tire. It's just a little bit of everything. And in order to coat these, we need to get all of that off. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and then we're going to apply this stuff. Now, they do make a couple different versions of this. This one's the matte. So keep that in mind. I'm not going for super glossy. I'm going for black. I want it to look black, not super shiny, but just fresh. And that's why I like this one. 3D is not a sponsor or anything. I wish they were, but they just make really good products. And this is some cool stuff. So this, rather than spraying your tires with greasy stuff every time you wash, this will last much longer. And it's more of like a coating. Now, to get all of this off, it's not as simple as just getting some Dawn dish soap. You need to get something that's going to cut all the iron and all that stuff, and that's Adams Polishes. This stuff, you'll actually see when I spray this, a lot of foam is going to turn colors as it pulls all this nasty stuff off, but you have to get it down to the bare tire underneath, and you need something like this. It doesn't have to be this, but this works really well. So we're going to start with that, and then we're going to spray it off, and then once that dries, completely dry, then we can apply our coating. So let's get on with that now. And then that's what it's going to look like for now. We'll take a look at it once it air dries and see if we have to do it a second time, but I think we might be okay. Sometimes when they ship tires, there's a lot of grease on it from all the stuff that sometimes can take a couple of hits. But as you saw, liberally spray this all over there, let it soak for a minute, then spray again before you scrub it. We have our material, and again, you can get this in a couple of different finishes, including like extra gloss, and then this really fine brush. This is what we're going to apply it with, and this does such a good job because it's so fine. It's actually super soft that it allows you to get into all the little details here in between all the letters that are super small. And this will allow us to do that. So let's show you how to do this. And so when you're finished, it's gonna look something like this. You gotta let it dry. It takes, I don't know, about 10 minutes to dry. And I'll take you to the other side and show you, once it's dry, it's gonna look something like this. At least this finish will. So it's not super greasy. It doesn't come off on your fingers. And that's an important part of this, because the greasy stuff, although it does make it shine, it flings everything everywhere. And this does not do that. This kind of impregnates itself on the outside, creates a layer, and then keeps this looking black. So you decide for yourself if you want kind of this finish or if you want something a little bit more gloss than that. They have both of those options. And but this I really like the most because it seems to stand up the best, and it's not super greasy looking. So eventually that gets dry, and then that in comparison to this tire in the back, you can really start to see the difference, right? So that's after cleaning it a lot, and then that's just one little coating on it. Just a nice black finish on it. So now some final thoughts on this. First and foremost, these wheels are awesome. I love the way that they look. They look amazing. They make this car look so much better, especially with this paint, than the factory wheels that we had on here. The nice thing about these wheels in particular, they're not cheap. However, Unplugged Performance has this really cool deal going on. It's like a trade-in thing. So what they're doing is they will give you $1,000 credit if you send them your factory wheels that you get on your Juniper Model Y. So, for example, if you get the base factory wheels, 19-inch, you give them your wheels, they'll give you $1,000 credit, plus you get to keep the tires. And these things are spec'd to be able to give you an option that is the same size as the factory tires. So you can put the hand-cooked tires on the new wheels, give them your old wheels, and be on your way, save a ton of money on tires, plus $1,000 on these, and the $2,000 you would have spent upgrading the wheels from Tesla. It's actually a really good deal. Now, my thing is, these tires were 1,100 miles in. These tires still have this droning noise. And although it's gone down by, I would say, about 70%, it still is there. These tires are definitely more noisy than the hand-cooked tires that were on there. And it's just something that's going to have to come with time, I suppose. So, my recommendation, swap your factory hand-cooks over on the Unplugged wheels and be on about your day. So save $2,000 from upgrading with Tesla, save another, call it $1,500 for not buying new tires, and then $1,000 from Unplugged Performance by trading in. And you can tell your wife you're actually being paid to upgrade your wheels at that point. Am I right? So with that, Guy Matt, let's wrap this up. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to catch you on the next one.